Mara Williams Van Horn with Auntie Corn Leadership Strategies. How are you today? Um, I am sitting at the pond and I heard this splash, right? But I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And then right in front of me, the water started to ripple outwards. And as I watched the ripples, kind of spread from close to me further and further out, I started thinking about people and how we encounter one another and how those encounters ripple outward. And yeah, that just made me want to hop on here and uh, talk with you today, pose a couple of questions. Uh, I don't often get answers to my questions when I ask you all on here, and uh, I just got to be okay with that because I have to ask questions, and questions are a great way to get to know someone. They're a good way for you to get to know me, even if you aren't answering them. They're a good way for me to get to know folks in real life. When we are looking for a job, right? There's an interview. People want to ask us questions to make a decision about who the best person for the task or the role might be. Um, be that as it may, that's one form of ripple, right? You have an interview, and in my line of work, and we're interviewing now, so that's interesting that that example came up. In my line of work, when I am part of an interview process for someone to join our team, I am often not just asking standard questions, but I'm listening for uh, folks' commitment or passion for what we do, their preparation for adapting to the unique pieces of our environment. I'm listening for things like confidence and insecurity, um, not in an evaluatory sense, but to um, again, kind of pull out and interpret what the candidate's future might look like on our team, if that makes any sense at all. So, anyway, thinking about those things that ripple outwards from an interview. In my line of work, we often interview folks who are doing amazing work where they are, who are excited about um, jumping into this work. We often see folks who are 100% curious. We also see folks who are much more about building relationships, almost like the four domains of leadership in Clifton Strengths. Um, and that ripples out. People's answers remind us who we are and what we can sometimes forget to be about in the hustle and bustle of the day to day. It ripples in hearing people's bits of people's stories and um, how their lives have built up to this point where they're seeking um, a position on a team like this in a time like this. Um, there are all kinds of ripples, and hopefully there are ripples for that candidate too. Um, I'm sure there's ripples if the person is seeking a role and doesn't already have a role that compensates them at a living wage. I'm sure there are ripples from that, and there are ripples from being selected. You might have to move. You might have a different commute. You might be taking a pay cut. You might be getting a pay bump from where you're at. You may be, um, opening yourself to all kinds of new learnings on multiple levels, learnings about people, learning about places, learning about new things and topics and areas of the world. Um, there's so many ripples. And I'm just using that job interview as, one example of the ripples we can have on each other as people. Um, so that's just my little musing today. I didn't really have a point, except to ask, uh, what question has rippled forward from you recently? Have you ever had that experience of having a question kind of ripple forward and ripple out from your life and from hearing it or having it posed or asking yourself a question that just had ripples? And another question I'd be really interested in hearing from you all about is, where can you start a ripple effect for good, for kindness, for love, for uplift, those ideals, those higher energies, those higher frequencies? Where can you commit to doing some ripple starting? Tell me in the comments. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you like these videos. Share it with someone who loves questions or is kooky dukes or likes to see nature stuff. Any of that. Yeah, spread the word. This is Tamara Williams Van Horn with Auntie Corn Leadership Strategies, and that's it for me today. Adios.